talk, to share their stories.
Well, as South Africa marks 32 years of democracy under the theme Freedom and the Rule of Law. 30 years of democratic citizenship, that's the theme. This moment invites reflection on progress made and challenges that remain. Education continues to play a vital role in advancing equality, active citizenship and social cohesion in building a more inclusive future. So for more on this, I'm now joined by Education Lead Ridwan Samodien from Citizen Leader Lab. Ridwan, good afternoon. Welcome to ENCA. What does freedom look like in South African classrooms 30 years into democracy?
Good afternoon, my dear, and good afternoon to all your wonderful viewers out there. Freedom, I often ask the question, are we really free? Are we really free? But yeah, we need to give credit where credit is due. I say, as a country, we have shown great tenacity and resilience, merging 13 separate education departments into what we call the DBE. I sometimes wish I can refer to them as our beloved DBE, but sadly we are not there yet. So yes, we are free on paper, but infrastructurally, the apartheid backlog remains. And it will take serious political will and significant funding to bring about real equality. But I must, as I said, much has been achieved. Still much needs to be done. But I think our greatest unfinished revolution is not our buildings and infrastructure. It is in our minds. I'd like to recall the words of Bob Marley when he said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. And I think that should be the core of what we do in our classrooms. None but ourselves can free our minds. The chains of the body were broken in 1994, but the chains of the mind, have we broken from that shackles of mental slavery? Are we giving the South African child, whom I sometimes refer to as the South African clever kid, are we giving him the skills to really think for himself? And we're struggling with reading. I often say that your future depends on your ability to read for meaning. And so a child who thinks freely cannot be colonized again. And that is the one thing that we must guard against.
You make a very important point here, Ridwan, and I do want to ask you whether you believe that South African schools are producing employable citizens or just graduates with certificates here, because many might say, I'm mentally free, I'm politically free, but I'm economically in slavery. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I believe that when a child is able to think for himself, you just need to look at patents and prototypes and how far we are behind. And it's not just about making the child an academic. We need for them to think out of the box. We need to cater for a world that's still for jobs and that still doesn't exist. And so the thinking needs to be sharpened to create space and that amazing thoughts that's going to emanate from the South African clever kid to realize those kind of ideals that the world is going to ask of us. And we must break away from the notion that we're using tools and stuff designed by other people. We need to design those tools ourselves. And I believe our South African kids, clever kids, as I said, has that capacity. Given our focus on them and how we want to sharpen those minds, maybe then we will be able to unlock true potential of every South African clever kid.
But earlier you mentioned the fact that we're going to need significant funding to be able to make this happen. You also mentioned political will that is needed, Ridwan. Let's talk about school leadership. Why is strong school leadership critical in driving meaningful and lasting change?
School leadership is so critical. There's this saying that the fish rots from the head. And so I believe that everything rises and falls on leadership. The school is only as good as the person who leads it. The fish rots from the head, as I mentioned. My late mentor, Professor Brian O'Connell, once is believed to have said that being a principal in a former disadvantaged school, in the township school, some people refer to that, is one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult job in the country. And I believe he was right. The challenges that faces a principal today, a leader, is like an avalanche. He needs to be a builder, a social worker, a financier, a psychologist, a parent, And all these things are bearing down, apart from the other requirements, the admin overload that it faces. And so we at Citizen Leader Lab, not that I want to tout our organization, but over the last 15 years, we believe that we have answered the call of the Deacon scenario, the National Development Plan, where we say we want to walk alongside our leaders, not to fix them, but to support them. And so we have offerings, if I may mention them, like Time to Think. Because a leader who cannot think independently cannot grow an independent thinker. And similarly, we say leaders breed readers and readers breed leaders. And so when a principal struggles with the human relationships, called upon them to, of this beautiful African philosophy of Ubuntu, we offer them the awakened leader. And we show them about the importance of living your value. You know, there's a saying that if you really live your values, you are at your most happiest. And so we need each one of us, all of us, to know what our real values are and how can we move towards living those values. And then lastly, we offer them community building, because we believe the community surrounding that school needs to be the heartbeat of that school. And the school in turn needs to be the heartbeat of that community. So with this offerings, we believe that if the leader has the awareness, he's able or she's able to draw those parents and communities back into the life of the school. Because ultimately education starts in the home. And we need to sharpen that awareness that we need everybody's hand in this journey to give the children the best possible education. And so with that also we say, I mean, there's a famous quote that I love quoting from Julia Hassan when she says, schools cannot become the best places for children to learn and grow unless and until we make them the best places for teachers to learn and grow. And so we need to nurture the human relationships that exist, you know, as called upon us by Ubuntu, for example.
Right. Ridwan, I want to appreciate your time. Not only was this a very thought-provoking conversation, but it is indeed an important services that you offer to the community. Thank you so much to Education Lead Ridwan Samodin from Citizen Leader Lab. It is now 15:51 on this Freedom Day. Still to come right here on Today, Orlando Pirates coach was not impressed with the officiating during yesterday's Soweto derby. Nandi Chambalala is the one in the know, and she has more details. Stay with us.
For the first time in 7 seasons, there's nothing to separate these two sides, says Kaiser Chiefs.
I chose Assurance Essential because it's perfect for my older car and it's a